I'm proud my kids are scouts. They are in better condition physically because they camp out and live in the woods, because they swim and hike, and well, because they respect physical conditioning and strive to attain it. They also have a fine moral code expressed in a statement that a scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
What 2 reasons does this speaker give that make her proud her children are scouts? State your reasons orally first, then enter them on page 52. Notice how for the preceding statement, you can reduce a lengthy message into a concise summary. In the following statement, you'll need to do the same.
Of a variety of possible maxims I might offer from many years of legal practice, I think that the most relevant to the average person's sphere of activity deals with one's behavior in the event of an automobile accident involving a serious injury or a fatality. There, the key guide to activity may be aptly summarized by an admonition I remember hearing a shyster of an attorney in a Hollywood movie giving to an obviously disreputable client named Maxie. The words were, and I quote, "Maxie, say nothing and sign nothing." Maxie, despite the appearance of an imbecile, heeded this advice. Very valuable and correct advice, although other difficulties intruded in his life. It's important to realize that even the apparently innocent transgression of this advice may bring a wholly disproportionate punishment. Although silence can never be misconstrued as a confession of guilt, the most humane statement of sorrow may be interpretable as springing from a sense of conscience. The most seemingly innocent and charitable statement of regret may at some time be represented as unequivocal expression of guilt. A thoroughly accurate recounting of some detail told in the least emotional terms will be recalled as a sobbing episode. Details will be transmitted, changed into horribly incriminating monsters that may tower over you in the courtroom. Tricks of memory, which emotion plays, with the most honest who cannot be bribed and whose integrity the court and jury would immediately trust. It's a matter for psychologists. It's a mystery of kinds, but every attorney worth a pinch of salt recognizes it and advises clients to avoid the danger. But gently and with courtesy. That's the way to do it. None of this give me your name, rank, and serial number attitude. You must maintain every possible aspect of courtesy, politely declining comment, keeping the pleases and thank yous and other appurtenances of courteous behavior that are critical. For it's a human being behind the badge to whom you're speaking, a human being whose feelings may be easily ruffled, whose family may have been irritable at the breakfast table, and to whom discourteous behavior would be intolerable to all with whom you brought into contact. Despite any irritation, emotion, or feelings of despair that you may feel, you must behave in this manner. All this advice I offer, secure in the knowledge you can mechanically apply it. If you take it to heart, you cannot err. I'd like to add one more piece of advice, perhaps more difficult to follow. Maintain a sense of dignity. You'll avoid thereby a sort of subtle bullying. In addition, you'll project an image of integrity, which in wondrous ways serves to intrude into every nook and cranny of courtroom evidence. And if the time comes, which with God's help we hope will be never, bear this admonition in mind. Maxie, my Hollywood hero I mentioned earlier, followed this advice to the best of his ability. Not the highest praise, perhaps, but the best it was given him to perform. Well, You can't hope to emerge from a trying experience such as the one we've been discussing with utter serenity. But you can make everything work for you.
Now write a summary of this statement on page 53. Your answer to the preceding statement may have been longer and more detailed than the summary given by your instructor. The important point is that your summary includes the key points given. Because each of us responds and focuses differently on messages, there is seldom an exact summary for any statement, particularly for longer messages or lectures. Remembering to structure your notes to include the main point and supporting ideas is important, but you must use your own judgment in developing your notes.
If it's true impressionistic painting, it's generally painted in the open air, ignores outlines, and uses bright prismatic colors. I mean, these are the characteristics of the great impressionistic painters who disdained all those dreary old paintings that absolutely put one to sleep on one's feet.
Summarize this statement orally first, and then write your response on page 54.
Chess is a game that brings you many wondrous features. It's no wonder that legends say the ancient rulers gave rewards beyond accounting to the man who invented the game. First of all, chess makes friends of an extremely close nature. The kind of communication that goes on when you play surpasses by far the kind of talk that two people can have in other ways. Patients who speak freely to their analysts, lovers who bear their heart's desire and inmost secrets to each other, secure in the belief that they can be utterly honest. This cannot become as close as chess players who know from years of experience over the chessboard how each reacts to every change in the player's game, to every danger and to every triumph. Chess friends are so close that in an ancient German poem, two neighboring kingdoms which had been warring for generations, ceased their quarreling, and their hallowed princes became fellow chess players, and then necessarily became close friends. Also, chess brings a sense of accomplishment into your life. Every humdrum work brings few opportunities for one to triumph over the environment and to feel one clear goal for oneself, and to allow the full play of one's intellect. To accomplish this against a powerful adversary, a great chess player once said, "Chess, like love, like music, has a power to make one happy." And it does, giving that indispensable feeling of accomplishment and a sense of accomplishment that really adds something. Also, chess increases your power of concentration. Some chess players spend more than an hour staring at the board, just thinking, watching the slow dance and rearrangement of pieces in their mind. This skill, the ability to sit still, your head full of ideas and thoughts, watching the thoughts rearrange themselves into new plans, new approaches, this deep creative power of concentration is no small virtue. Then, too, chess playing relaxes you. It decreases your anxiety. Some thinkers explain this by the most abstruse theories. Sometimes they argue the primary source of anxiety arousal in our lives is the emotional distortion aroused by the Oedipus complex, a sense we must all, that is all of us who are male, feel a deep-seated urge to destroy our fathers. This, they argue, is then acted out on the chessboard. As you know, the primary object in chess is to destroy your opponent's king, and the translation from life to the game board is obvious. Now, another theory sometimes advanced is that anxiety stems from pondering upon problems to which no solution can be offered. You know, you worry about whether your company will make sufficient money so that they can afford to give you a Christmas bonus. You worry whether you are going to get a stomach ulcer when you get extremely annoyed about something. But in chess, whatever plan your opponent gets, you are always doing something, so you feel much less anxious. There are lots of other theories to explain this reduction of anxiety. Some say you are accustomed to worrying at home or worrying at work because problems are always being brought up there. But there is none of this happening over the chessboard because no one says anything. So, naturally, you are not anxious then.
On page 55, write a summary of this statement. The next two statements serve as a review and conclude the course. As you complete your summaries, remember to organize the speaker's message into main and supporting points, and to write your notes with the main heading on the top line, listing the subpoints underneath.
Well, in recent years, audiobooks have sold very well. Audiobooks are fairly inexpensive. I've even been able to purchase a great many in recent years without stretching my budget in the least. And you can buy audiobooks at almost any bookstore, in shopping malls, specialty bookshops, and even variety discount centers. You have a great selection. The public library also offers a good number of them. I've even found audiobooks in the magazine section of my grocery store. Maybe because they're so widely available, there's now a greater variety of audiobooks. Where you used to see only the Bible or selected classics, now you can find the newest bestsellers, some of my favorites. If you spend a lot of time driving or on the road for your job, you can still stay abreast of the latest writing, as well as classic literature, financial advice, and self-help by listening to audiobooks. My husband drives a lot and is able to get through a book every few days. He calls his commuting time his reading time these days. He's been greatly impressed by the variety of recorded material now available.
Now write your summary on page 56.
It is difficult to decide whether, in fact, management consulting organizations serve a useful role. They do have desirable features, and yet they have distinct defects. One clearly desirable feature is their assemblage of expert personnel. They do indeed have experts, people who have their PhDs or long years of experience, and in general, people who have proven their competence. But although expert advice is worth a great deal, I find their charges far too high. I also believe that...
Stop. Have you been mentally summarizing the speaker's message as he proceeded? Have you determined that his talk will include a discussion of the advantages and disadvantages of management consulting firms? Have you already been able to note one advantage and one disadvantage, ignoring extraneous material? If you have, congratulations. You've successfully completed this program in effective listening.